I today?
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you have not been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books, and for Series Sunday we've got a series back, but we're going to have to wait a while because I'm waiting for the next three. But yeah, it's the Jessie Hunt series. We're back to Blake Pierce. So I've got three books, which are The Perfect Crime, The Perfect Prey and The Perfect Betrayal. I finished The Perfect Betrayal this morning when I realised I only had the epilogue left. So epilogue, prologue, I always get them mixed up. Why do I always get epilogue and prologue mixed up? Prologue is before. Yeah, and epilogue is afterwards. I need to get better at my Latin, people, don't I? We've been continuing with the Mark Haddonfield story and the Ash Pierce story. If you haven't watched any of the reviews for these books before, I will say these are books 36, 37 and 38. So, you're going in kind of a bit blind, but I have done for all the other books in this series. I started off with book 1, and then I have been doing them in threes. It said I have 38 of 43 items in this series, but the other ones have not been released yet, which is why I am just going to book 38 at this point. Just a little bit of backstory. We met Jessie when she was like 27, and in these books she's 31, and she was like 27, 28 in the first book, I think, and it feels like she should be older than 31 at this point. But they say it repeatedly throughout these three books. I was like, really? She's 31? I could have sworn she was older than that. I thought she was at least in her mid-30s by this point. But it's because between books, it's usually like a week or a couple of days. It's literally one serial killer after another for Jessie. LA is full of serial killers, according to these books. But yeah, Jessie was born to a serial killer father, and when she was young, her serial killer father killed her mother in front of her in a cabin. And knowing she was the daughter of a serial killer, she tried to channel any psychopathic tendencies into becoming a profiler. So now she has been working with the Homicide Special Edition? It's the HSS, so it's the Homicide Special Services, something like that. I know it's HSS, in helping to profile serial killers and killers on the scene. Her MO is that she doesn't like to look at the body straight away. She likes to get an idea of like the scene before she looks at the body and piecing things together. Now, as I said, she's channeling her energies into becoming a profiler. We found out a few books ago that channeling isn't really working anymore. She has been having fantasies and tendencies to want to kill people. Generally the bad people, but still. Her sister Hannah has already gone through therapy to try and channel that tendency in her own way. We all thought that Jessie had a handle on it because she's gone down the profiler route. But no, these urges are coming out, and so she has been talking with her therapist, Dr. Janice Lemon, about that. She did go through a couple of books of refusing to admit to what she was thinking and feeling until she almost killed somebody. Yeah, that's when she's finally started talking to Janice, and in these past couple of books she's been talking about what would be the right thing for her, because obviously her therapy sessions are not working. She tries going away to a hospital. That doesn't work because people recognise her. And then in the past three books she's also tried a prescription which first completely knocked her out, and then when she woke up her head was really hazy and she just basically didn't have her full faculties. So after one round of these drugs she was just like, I cannot do these drugs, we need to find a way. So that'll be something we'll be looking at in future books, of seeing how she handles all of this. We have been seeing Kat, her best friend, Kat Gentry, dealing with the aftermath of her fiancé's passing at the hands of, not Haddonfield, Ash Pierce. Need to remember because it's Blake Pierce, and so it's repeated names. So Kat has been dealing with the death of her fiancé, trying to deal with the aftermath of Ash Pierce being arrested claiming to have amnesia, which she did, but then her memory came back and nobody knows that yet. We've had Mark Haddonfield's trial, where he was found guilty on all counts. So yeah, the agreement that Jessie had with Mark when he went away to help to basically keep him on side, you know, retract the manifesto that he put online telling everybody to go after Jessie and her friends and family. In order to get Haddonfield on side, she was just like, I will come and bring cases to you when I need help. She did that twice in the time that he's been away, and we've had the Mark Haddonfield story going on for about 8 books, maybe longer, I'm not sure. It's interesting because I find these books so easy to read, kind of between the 200 and 300 page mark, and they're very, very easy to read. I will say, I have now looked into the whole Blake Pierce situation, and nobody knows who Blake Pierce actually is. So, there's huge question marks over whether these books are written with AI, whether it's a series of authors using the Blake Pierce pseudonym. There are so many theories online as to how these books are written, and I will say that I have admitted in other reviews of these books that the editing has been getting sloppy. Like, I went through one of these books, was it book 37, or I think it might have been book 37, where there were no full stops at the end of chapters. Quotation marks are kind of in wrong places or ignored altogether. The editing of these books has been getting more sloppier as it's been going through, and I do think it has to do with how quickly these books are churned out, and it is annoying. As somebody who reads a lot of books, when you see the editing getting really sloppy, it is jarring, it does affect things slightly, but at the same time, the story has me hooked in so much that it's not enough to make me completely stop reading these books, because I'm still invested in that storyline. It's just that the editing has gotten sloppy. There's so many theories about what's going on with the author and who it actually is, because there is no author photo. It's only connected to the books that have been written by Blake Pierce, and the fact that there are some people who are putting out that theory that it's actually multiple writers. But the thing is though, when it comes to the writing, it all feels like uniform. So it doesn't feel like you've got different people writing it, if that makes sense, because generally when you have an author, there's a style that you get used to, and these all seem to have the same style to me. It's never been really jarring in the idea of that, oh, this must be written by somebody else. I've never had that feeling while I've been reading these books. Maybe other people might have picked up on something that I haven't, but the idea that they may be written by AI is not an impossible concept here. I don't know when the first book, well, I don't even know when the first book was released. The first book was The Perfect Wife, as I go on to a complete side tangent about just Blake Pierce. That says copyright 2018 in the first one. And at that point, there was already quite a few book series going on. You had the Jessie Hunt, the Chloe Find series, which had 3 books at that point. Kate Wise had 3 books. Riley Page had 3 at that point. Oh, The Making of Riley Page was 3. And then there was the full Riley Page, which at book 1 was 15 books. Mackenzie White with 10. Avery Black with 6. And Kerry Locke with 5. So, yeah, it is a case of there's a lot being churned out. Because if I go to the front of this one, yeah, because you do wonder about just the way these are being churned out, because at the beginning of the most recent one for me, you've got Isla Rivers, which has 12 books, Alison Payne has 12 books, Jenna Graves has 12 books, The Governess Psychological Suspense has 9, Rachel Blackwood has 8, Sheila Stone has 14, Finn Wright has 11 books, Morgan Cross is 15, Juliet Hart is 5, Faith Bold is 20, Fiona Red is 13, Daisy Fortune is 5, Amber Young is 8, Cammy Lark Mysteries has 10, Nikki Lyons has 8, Cora Shields has 8, May Moore has 11, Paige King has 8, Valerie Law has 9, Rachel Gift has 23, Ava Gold has 6, there's A Year in Europe, which is 4, Ella Dark has 42, Laura Frost has 11, there's the European Voyage Cozy Mysteries, which has 6, Adele Sharp has 16, the Au Pair series has 3, Zoe Prime has 6, and then you've also got the Jessie Hunt series, which was going up to 43 at this point. Chloe Fine has 6, Kate Wise has 13. Oh, that's The Making of Riley Page, which is 6. Riley Page, which has 23. Mackenzie White is 14. Avery Black is 6. Kerry Locke is 5. That is a lot of books. So the theory that it's written by AI, it fits because of how quickly these books are churned out. I'd love to see if there are any other theories from anybody else about the Blake Pierce books, because to have that many series, and some of them with almost as many as each other, because as I was saying, like Jessie Hunt has 43, there's other series which have continued going, and comparing that with the books that I read out from the first Jessie Hunt book, that is a lot of books to churn out in that time. That is a lot of books. And I know that even if somebody was just writing all the time, you would not be sleeping if you had written that much. So, yeah, the idea of it being multiple authors or being AI can make complete sense to me. It doesn't change the fact that I am enjoying these books, but it is an interesting theory. But yeah, if anybody else has any theories on Blake Pierce, the author, do let me know, because there is absolutely no evidence that this actually is a real person. Because I think even in the information about Blake Pierce, I don't think there's actually any real information. It just says, Blake Pierce is the USA Today best-selling author of the Riley Page mystery series, which includes 23 books, also the author of Mackenzie White. It is literally just talking about the different book series. There's nothing about the actual Blake Pierce. It's only talking about the books, which leans more into the idea that Blake Pierce doesn't actually exist. I'm going down a conspiracy theory here, but the thing is, it's because, like, well, if it looks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Yeah, it's an interesting web to go down. But as I said, I am still enjoying the series. The fact that we're still continuing on from Mark Haddonfield and Ash Pierce, and we've just seen Ash, because obviously I said that her memory came back and nobody was really sure if she has been lying or not. We as the reader know that it was real, and then her memory came back, so we're ahead of the characters in that sense. But we have seen Mark Haddonfield's trial. He was found guilty on all charges, and then Ash Pierce used the day of that trial to escape from prison. So, yeah. She's escaped before as well, so the theory that she still has amnesia is kind of bonkers at this point. But yeah, but it does mean everybody is on edge now that Ash has fled the country. So it'd be interesting to see that. And also, in the epilogue of book 38, we have realised that somebody is still trying to carry on Haddonfield's work. And it's a storyline that has been kind of creeping up in the background of Hannah being at college. That's what I'm going to say at this point, because we're definitely going to delve more into that in the next 3 books. It might be a while, as I said, because those books are not readily available to me, and I do want to do it in 3s. Yeah, I'm loving it. I love this story. I love the fact that it does still come back to the original story. It's just everything had just a knock-on effect, which I am very much enjoying. But yeah, I need to get myself sorted because I am heading off to a party. I'm picking up my niece, and then me and my niece are having a slumber party tonight. I don't have access to Disney Plus at the moment, so I think we're just going to look through Sky and see if there's any films that she wants to watch. I have popcorn, I have chocolate sauce, I have marshmallows, and I have cooked off a bolognese sauce, and then I'll cook off the spaghetti later, because she specifically said that she wanted my spaghetti bolognese. So yeah, originally I was just going to take her to the shops and say, what do you want to eat for tonight? And she was just like, no, I like your spaghetti bolognese, Barbed, so you are cooking spaghetti bolognese. Yeah, it's just been interesting reading these books, looking at the theories behind who Blake Pierce actually is, and yeah, I just find it hilarious that it's just like how one book will pick up like a day after the other one, and it's just more and more serial killers. The thing is though, some of them, how many does it actually have to be a serial killer? Because some of them are only like 2 or 3. Does it have to be a certain number to be a serial killer? I want to Google that now. That's probably a really strange thing to Google. It's 2. 2 or more victims by the same offender in separate events. There's a Google question saying, why are there no serial killers anymore? And it says the number of serial killers has declined due to a combination of factors, including advancements in forensic technology, changes in policing, and greater emphasis on caution in everyday life. While not a complete absence, serial killing has become less common, particularly in recent decades. That is interesting. I think, yeah, it says forensic science, changes in policing, societal shifts, criminal justice, technological advancements, so like GPS, social media, that kind of thing, and focus on prevention. So there's more emphasis on social emotion learning in schools, and other programs aimed at identifying and preventing violent behaviours may also contribute to the decline. So yeah, it also says that 85%, when they're looking at like how the percentage of serial killers being men, it says 74% of murderers are from the United States, where 85% were male, 8% were female, and the sex was undetermined in cases in which the offender was still at large. Golden age of serial killers, if you wanted to know. In the United States, this could be considered from 1950 to 2000, with a peak in the 70s and the 80s. Well, I was not expecting to Google that today, but yeah. My battery is flashing, which means it's time to wrap up. But yeah, if anybody else are reading the Blake Pierce books, Jessie Hunt to be specific, because that is the one that I am reading, do let me know what you think of these books, where you think that things are going to go, and your theories on the conspiracy theory about Blake Pierce themselves. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time with another video. Stay safe. Love you all. Goodbye.